Right now, you're going to hear all about how to create an energetically supportive environment for you. Right? Most of the time, people think that they have to work to help support their environment. In other words, earn enough money and do all that. But instead, you would also be benefited by helping your environment support you. I have interviewed hundreds of healers, and as a group, these loving, generous, and kind individuals want to improve the welfare of our planet, affecting millions, if not billions, of lives. Amongst the frustrations these amazing healers express during our conversations are the ability to attract stable income to sustain themselves, the loss of their life force energy when working with others, and even the lack of confidence or the fear of failing because of the responsibility of the well-being of others. I've had these very same frustrations myself during my 30-year healing history. When the calling to heal got so strong, I had to retire from my 40-year physics career. I needed to replace my 6-figure salary fast. Standard sales and business techniques didn't always work for me as a highly sensitive introvert. Through trial and error and studying with many coaches, I developed a 4-step system that replaced my salary within 5 months. I've helped others develop their successful healing businesses, and I can help you too. I'm Dr. Anastasia Chopelas. Listen in to discover more. Okay, welcome back. So what do I mean by creating an energetically supportive environment? So when you walk into your home or your office, do you feel overwhelmed immediately because it is a mess, things are out of place, it's a color, or there are things hanging in your room that are making you feel a little stressed? That environment is pulling away from your energy. So let's talk about how to make this support you. And you can do it in a lot of really simple ways, a lot simpler than you could possibly imagine. For example, you ever seen those Himalayan sea salt lamps? They are really awesome. They come in, they have a beautiful glow. They're made out of these big salt crystals, and they come in many shapes. I have one that's a sphere in one room and a pyramid in another, and I have a rough shape actually next to on my nightstand in my bedroom. My grandson has one that has different colors coming out from the bulbs. It changes colors. So we have them all over the house, and when you have them on and running all day long, they help dissipate the low energy in the room. So what are things that would drag the energy of the room down? So if you cut flowers, fresh flowers, and you put them in a vase, right, that helps bring the energy of the room up. But as soon as they start to wilt and get rotten, that's showing what we call death energy. That drags the energy of the room down. So as soon as things start to dry up, wilt, any kind of dead leaves, take it and throw it out. Really remove it, because having those fresh plants or even potted plants that are growing nicely in your house will raise the energy of the room, right? So we have the salt lamps, and we have fresh plants or cut flowers that will help raise the energy of your environment. Another thing that you can do plant-wise, for example, is to grow herbs and have healing plants around your home. Like we have them in our front yard, and also along the side and the back we have aloe growing everywhere. We have aloe vera everywhere. And of course we live in California, which is a desert-like environment, and I've seen aloe grow all across the south. I don't know about the north, but I know that it's here. But you could also grow herbs, holy basil, oregano, spearmint, peppermint, any kind of herb, sage, anything like that that has a very high energy. You can even put roses in your yard. Roses are a very high energy plant, and these will help raise the energy of your environment. And these are really, really helpful. And another thing you can do with regards to salt instead of salt lamps is you could create like what I call an energy toilet. So what I did was I got some bowls from the dollar store, and they are only for making these energy toilets. So if you have a lot of guests coming, you can take these bowls, I paid $1 for them, and put a handful of salt in and then put some water in them. And you put them up high in different places, and it helps absorb the low energy stuff in the home. And I don't normally have those out because I have a cat that goes around and is curious about a lot of things. But if you don't, you can put these bowls out, and if you're doing any kind of energy work, if you're an energy healer and you do any kind of energy work and you cut cords, you can throw the cords in the bowl, right? And then to properly dispose of it, it's also important. You don't want to pour it down your sink because it's like having a toilet. It's got all that poopy energy in it. And so what I do is I take it and I dump it out in the bathroom in the toilet, rinse it out, put some more water in it from the sink, swish it around, keep rinsing it out, and then put fresh water in and put a new charge of salt in. And I don't need those particularly. It's only when the energy in the environment gets particularly rough, right? I'll put those out. I've also brought little bowls of water to meetings, and I'll put salt water in them, and I'll place them like on the windowsill when I go to hotels and things like that. It really helps dissipate the energy in the room. So these are some of the other things. And then the couple of things that are really interesting for creating energy flow, because flow is all about money, it's relationships. Flow is just the back and forth energy exchange between you and your environment, right? So flow, it's really important to not have clutter in your drawers, to not have old things that you don't use anymore, damaged things. I have some of my little jackets that I like to wear in the house during the winter are now getting a little threadbare and holey. I have to throw those all away and start over, right? Because they are getting damaged. And so why not a damage? Now, why not your favorite old holey faded sweatshirt that you've been wearing for eons, right? So when you have something that's damaged like that, you're not honoring your body, you're not honoring yourself. You're just saying, I'm only, rags are what I deserve to wear. And so even though some of these things were like my favorites, I had some really colors that I just loved and are hard to find, and I put them on and I feel good because of that color. And then they got old and tired and little fadey spots. I just decided to retire it and then remember the times I wore it in pictures, right? So it'll make you feel good to remember that you wore that and it felt good, but now you can let it go. So going through your drawers, anytime you go through your drawers, your clothing, even your books. I went through these books. This is only a third of the books that I used to have, or even less than that, because I went through them and I just released them. All of the ones that I look at and I said, do I love it? Do I need to read it again? Am I going to read it again? If the answer is no to any of these questions, or do I need to keep it for reference? If the answer is no to any of these questions, I release it. So I take it down to my library, I take it, I give it to Goodwill, or I'll sell them back. I'll get 50 cents back for each book. that doesn't matter. But what I like the idea is that they're going to be recycled, because they'll sell them, they get 50 cents, they'll sell them for $1 or $2 or $3, right? So this is a way that you can help release those things that you don't love, that you don't need, that are damaged, and that you will never use again. You can just let them go, right? So then, and because those things will lower the energy of your home and stop the flow. And when you clean your drawers out, make sure they're clean. There's no more dust in the corners and things like that. Make sure your dresser is also neat and clean and dusted. I'm guilty of not doing that often, because I spend most of my time in here and in the living room rather than in my bedroom, because the bedroom is really small. We're hoping for a bigger one soon, but it's really small. So here are a couple of other little things that you can do is when you chant the word Om, which is the sound of the universe, right? Om, right? It will, that vibration coming out of you will raise the frequency of things around you. It's especially helpful if you say it over your food, for example. You'll raise the frequency of your food. It's a little bit like a prayer, right? Prayer does the same thing. And then there's something called focused life force energy. And this is a company will send focused life force energy to your home, your whole property. You can also buy it for your phone. You can, I'm not sure, there are a couple of other ways you can do it, but I have it on my phone and on my home. And I'll tell you, when you turn it off, you can turn it off via the website and turn it back on. There's a trial. There's a link here in the notes that will take you right to the trial. And there are 3 podcasts that I did with the people that have put this out. And it makes a really huge difference in the energy of your home. I know that my home right now has an incredible energy, even though it's not perfect. It's very small and 5 people live here, right? So hopefully that will change soon as my daughter is finally growing up. But so having this small house we're packed up to the gills here, and having this many people, there just tends to be a lot more chaos, especially chaotic noise, chaotic. I have a 6-year-old, my 6-year-old grandson lives with us. And, it allows me to form a really great relationship with him, but it's chaos when you're 69 and you have a 6-year-old running around and making lots of noise and interrupting your work every 5 minutes. Here, look at this, look at that. As much of a joy as it is, I still have a mission, right? So having this focused life force energy makes all the difference in the world, for me anyway. So you can try it out. I think there's a 2-week trial, and see the difference. And you can also turn it on and off at your home or off your phone and see what difference it makes for you. So that's all I have for today. There are many more tips, right? Feng shui, crystals, the way you declutter, how you declutter and clean, clapping, smudging with sage or incense, aura sprays. There are all kinds of different options, but these are some of the ones I gave you are some of the really easy ones that you can start doing right away. 1 drawer, 1 cabinet, and 1 surface in your house at a time. Okay, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Thank you for spending your valuable time with me. If you found this message helpful, please subscribe to my channel, give me a thumbs up or a 5-star rating, and share it with your friends. To discover more about the 4-step system for attracting a generous income as a healer or an intuitive coach without burning out, sign up for my free training at www.highpaidhealers.com. I look forward to seeing you there and in the next video.